In the heart of every storm, there lies stillness. In the silence between two sword strikes, there lives purpose. The ancient warriors of Japan called it Hagane no Ishi, the will of steel. A spirit unbending, unyielding, tempered through the fires of struggle. Steel is not born sharp. It is forged, beaten, burned and refined until it can cut through doubt itself. So too is the warrior's soul. Discipline is the fire that shapes your spirit. It does not care for comfort, nor ease, only transformation. Every dawn the samurai rose, not for victory, but for mastery. Mastery over self. The path of Bushido was not a path of glory. It was a vow to stand unshaken when the world trembles, and to rise when the body begs to fall, to hold to purpose even when the night grows long. And today, that spirit still calls to those who refuse to break, to those who choose to forge themselves in the fires of discipline. If you are one of them, if you are ready to sharpen your mind, harden your resolve, and awaken the warrior within, then comment, "I forge my will," subscribe, and join this brotherhood of modern samurai, walking the path of purpose. Together we do not seek an easy life, we seek a worthy one. And every moment of struggle, every act of discipline, every breath of persistence, becomes the hammer striking the steel of your soul. Mastery over self is the highest form of victory a warrior can achieve. A battle fought not with swords, but within the mind. The samurai understood that the fiercest enemy does not stand across the field, but lives inside. In hesitation, in weakness, in fear. To conquer this inner chaos is to walk the path of true discipline. The ancients called it Seishin Tanren, the forging of the spirit. Just as the swordsmith folds steel thousands of times to strengthen its core, so too must a warrior fold his thoughts, his habits, his impulses through daily trials. Mastery is not an act of suppression, but of understanding. It is the quiet recognition of one's flaws and the relentless decision to rise above them. Every temptation resisted, every emotion controlled, every decision made with clarity instead of reaction. These are the small victories that build an unshakable spirit. To master one's self is to command both body and mind as a single blade. The body obeys discipline, the mind obeys purpose. Together they create harmony, the essence of Shingi Tai, the unity of mind, technique, and body. When a samurai wakes before dawn, trains without complaint, eats with gratitude, and faces discomfort without flinching, he is not performing a ritual, he is sculpting his will. Mastery begins in these small, unseen choices, repeated with devotion. It demands awareness, to catch the drifting mind before it wanders into weakness, to redirect emotion before it turns into regret. The warrior does not silence his fears, he transforms them into fuel. In each breath he learns to act not from impulse, but from intent, not from desire, but from duty. This is the true beginning of mastery. Over time, the one who practices self-mastery becomes as still as a mountain and as fluid as water. He learns that control is not rigidity but flow, a balance between resistance and acceptance. Challenges become mirrors, reflecting the places where his spirit still falters. Failure becomes a teacher, not an enemy. The samurai does not seek perfection, he seeks refinement. An endless polishing of the inner blade. Through silence, meditation, and mindful action, he learns to hear the voice within the storm. That voice is calm, unwavering, and resolute, the echo of true strength. Mastery over self is not about dominance, it is about alignment. To bring thoughts, emotions, and actions into a single unbroken line. When that alignment is achieved, the world no longer dictates the warrior's path, his own will does. In this state, even the smallest act, a step, a breath, A glance carries the weight of purpose and the grace of discipline. Discipline is not born from motivation, it is built from ritual. The samurai did not wait for inspiration to act. He moved with precision because his actions were guided by structure. Every dawn held meaning, every gesture intention. Rituals are the scaffolding of an unbreakable life, the patterns that transform chaos into order. The samurai's morning training, the methodical cleaning of his blade, the quiet meditation before battle. These were not habits of routine, but ceremonies of focus. By repeating these acts, he engraved discipline into his soul. Rituals anchor the warrior when emotions waver and energy fades. They strip away hesitation and make action automatic. True power is not in doing something once with passion, but in doing it daily with purpose, even when no one is watching. Through ritual, the body remembers what the mind might forget. That strength is born from repetition. Each ritual is a forge where the self is tempered. When the warrior trains, eats, prays, or reflects at set times, he aligns his being with the rhythm of mastery. There is a sacred simplicity in routine, a peace that comes from knowing what must be done and doing it without question. The modern mind often seeks freedom by rejecting structure, yet true freedom is found within it. The samurai knew that rituals were not chains but gateways. Each act, no matter how small, reinforced identity. A disciplined routine sharpens focus and strengthens will. The first strike of the day, the breath before battle, the silent bow to one's reflection. These moments remind the warrior of his purpose. They create a rhythm of excellence that flows through every part of life. In mastering rituals, the warrior transforms his environment into an ally. His surroundings become extensions of his mind. The training ground, the meal, the rest, the silence, all serve a greater goal. He does not waste energy deciding what to do next. His path is carved by devotion to order. Even in the simplest act, pouring tea, folding clothes, lighting a candle, there is presence, calm, and intent. Each movement, when done with awareness, becomes meditation. Rituals turn ordinary moments into sacred ones, and mundane actions into lessons of mastery. Over time, the warrior learns that discipline is not punishment, but liberation. The ability to move through life with grace, without resistance. These rituals are not for show, nor for the world's approval. They are private oaths renewed every day, binding the warrior to his purpose. Through them, he discovers that true strength lies not in grand gestures, but in the quiet, consistent rhythm of devoted practice. The path of the samurai was never paved with comfort. It was carved through suffering, shaped by struggle, and illuminated by endurance. To embrace hardship is to understand the essence of growth. Fire refines steel, and adversity refines the soul. The samurai did not run from pain. He welcomed it as a companion, knowing it was the hand that shaped his spirit. Every battle scar, every moment of exhaustion, every drop of sweat was a lesson written in flesh. Hardship is not cruelty. It is the forge where the weak are broken and the strong are born. When the warrior feels the weight of exhaustion pressing on his shoulders, he does not curse it, he bows to it. For he knows that pain is not the enemy, comfort is. True strength blooms only in the soil of struggle, watered by perseverance and lit by purpose. Enduring hardship requires the courage to stand still in the storm. The modern mind seeks escape, distraction, ease, relief. But the samurai stands in the center of difficulty and listens to what it teaches. He knows that every obstacle conceals a mirror, showing him the limits of his patience, his focus, his will. To face hardship is to face truth. The body trembles, the mind resists, but the spirit whisper, continue. In this whisper lives transformation. The samurai learns that discipline is not about avoiding pain, but mastering it, bending it into strength. The mountain does not lower itself for the traveler must climb, and in the climb, he discovers who he truly is. Pain reveals the depth of one's resolve, and endurance becomes the highest form of meditation. Movement without complaint, suffering without surrender. Through the embrace of hardship, the warrior attains clarity. He no longer seeks the path of least resistance, for he understands that every struggle is an invitation to evolve. Rain does not drown him, it cleanses him. Defeat does not crush him, it instructs him. He learns to smile in the storm, to find calm in chaos, to draw power from persistence. The samurai knows that the world will test his resolve again and again, but these tests are sacred. Each one hones his edge a little sharper. Comfort dulls the blade of ambition, hardship sharpens it. The warrior walks willingly into challenge, for he knows that beyond every trial lies a stronger version of himself. And so, he does not merely survive hardship, he absorbs it, becomes it, and emerges forged anew, his spirit tempered by the fire of discipline and the unyielding will of steel. In the way of the samurai, focus is not merely concentration, it is presence, awareness and purpose fused into a single moment. The warrior lives in ichigo, ichi, one moment, one opportunity, where hesitation means defeat and clarity means life. To possess unbreakable focus is to silence the thousand voices of distraction and listen only to the call of duty. The samurai's mind is like a still pond. No matter how fierce the battle, its surface reflects only what is essential. His focus is not forced but cultivated, trained through years of discipline and mindfulness. He learns to let go of noise, both external and internal, until only intention remains. Every strike, every breath, every glance is guided by awareness. To live with focus is to honor the present, not haunted by the past or seduced by the future, but anchored completely in the now. The samurai's training was not about mastering the sword alone, but mastering the attention that guides it. When the mind wanders, the blade dulls. The warrior understands that divided attention is a form of weakness, a crack in the armor of discipline. Therefore he practices zanshin, the state of relaxed alertness, where his awareness expands beyond the body yet remains rooted in purpose. Focus for him is not tension, it is flow, the seamless movement between thought and action. To achieve this, he removes excess from his life. Fewer desires, fewer words, fewer distractions. He surrounds himself with simplicity so his spirit can remain sharp. Through daily meditation and repetition, he learns to see the world as it is, not as the mind paints it. In that clarity, every task becomes a form of training. Whether pouring tea or facing an enemy, unbreakable focus is the discipline of choosing where one's energy flows. The samurai does not scatter his strength chasing many things. He commits entirely to one. He knows that energy divided is power diminished. In battle, in life, in purpose, his eyes do not waver. Even pain cannot break his concentration, for he understands that what he gives attention to grows stronger. The warrior's focus is his greatest weapon. It cuts through confusion, fear, and temptation. It is the invisible blade that strikes before the sword ever leaves its sheath. To live with unbreakable focus is to live with intention, where every heartbeat, every motion, and every breath becomes a declaration of will. Through this mastery of attention, the samurai rises above chaos, moving with grace and certainty, untouched by distraction, a mind of steel within a world of noise. The samurai understood that the path to mastery begins with unity, the seamless connection between thought and movement, intention and action. To achieve true discipline, one must bring the mind and body into harmony, for a divided being cannot endure. The concept of Shingi Tai, mind, technique and body, was the foundation of the samurai's training. Every swing of the sword, every stance, every breath was not just physical motion, but an expression of inner balance. The body is the vessel, the mind is the captain. When they move as one, power flows effortlessly, and the spirit becomes unshakable. A restless mind weakens the body, an undisciplined body clouds the mind. The warrior therefore trains both, sharpening the body through repetition and the mind through silence. In this union, there is no separation between thought and action. There is only flow, precision, and purpose. Harmony of mind and body is not achieved through force, but through awareness. The samurai lived with intention in every movement, from the drawing of his sword to the folding of his robes. He sought stillness even in motion, grace even in strength. When he trained, he did not seek exhaustion. He sought alignment, the perfect synchronization of breath and strike. This harmony transforms fatigue into energy and chaos into rhythm. Through meditation, the samurai calmed his mind. Through discipline, he strengthened his body. When the two worked together, they formed a circle of endless reinforcement. A calm mind directing a powerful body, and a powerful body sustaining a calm mind. This is the essence of sei to do, stillness and motion as one. The warrior who learns this balance becomes unstoppable, for his strength no longer depends on willpower alone, but flows naturally from the unity of his being. To live in harmony of mind and body is to move with presence. The warrior eats with mindfulness, trains with purpose, rests with peace. Every act, no matter how small, becomes part of the path. He learns to listen to his body as he listens to his thoughts, not as two separate entities, but as a single echo of the same spirit. Pain becomes a message, fatigue a reminder, movement a meditation. The samurai knew that the body is not just a tool, it is a reflection of the mind's discipline. When one falters, the other must restore balance. The more they align, the more energy flows without friction, and the more the warrior becomes attuned to the pulse of life itself. In this state, the samurai no longer fights against himself. He moves as one being, united in purpose, embodying the eternal principle that harmony is strength and balance is the root of power. The final mark of a disciplined spirit is not intensity, it is consistency. The samurai understood that greatness is not forged in sudden bursts of passion, but in the quiet repetition of daily effort. True mastery is born from patience, from showing up again and again, long after the excitement fades. Every sunrise, every repetition, every ritual strengthens the spirit a little more. The samurai's training was not a moment of inspiration. It was a lifetime of devotion. He knew that discipline does not demand perfection, only persistence. When the blade dulls, it must be sharpened. When the will wavers, it must be renewed. Consistency transforms fleeting strength into enduring power. It teaches that progress is not measured in leaps, but in steps. Deliberate, steady, and unrelenting. Through this rhythm of repetition, the warrior learns that every act, no matter how small, carries the weight of destiny. In the philosophy of Keizoku wa Chikara Nari, continuance is strength, the samurai found the secret to perseverance. Even when the body aches and the mind grows weary, he moves forward without complaint. His power lies not in how fast he advances, but in how deeply he endures. The way of consistency is the art of remaining faithful to the path, even when no reward is visible. Each day's effort builds upon the last, forming an invisible chain of progress that cannot be broken. The warrior does not chase results, he honors the process. He knows that storms will come, distractions will tempt, and doubt will whisper, but these are passing clouds against the mountain of his resolve. Consistency is his weapon against chaos, his armor against weakness, his silent oath to never stop becoming. Over time, consistency becomes identity. The samurai no longer asks whether he will train, focus, or rise early. He simply does. Discipline becomes who he is, not what he practices. The world sees his calm, but not the countless repetitions behind it. The moments when he fought fatigue, boredom, and failure, yet still chose to continue. The warrior's power lies in this unwavering rhythm, the steady heartbeat of effort that never falters. In the stillness of consistency, he finds freedom. In repetition, he finds mastery. Each day lived with purpose polishes his soul as a swordsmith polishes steel. Patiently, endlessly, until it reflects the light of perfection. The samurai's legacy is not written in grand victories, but in daily devotion. Proof that the greatest strength of all is the will to continue, no matter how long the path or how heavy the burden. Discipline is not a gift, it is a creation. It is the result of countless days of effort, shaped by the hammer of consistency and cooled in the silence of self-mastery. The 7 samurai habits are not just principles to follow, they are fires through which you must pass to awaken your true strength. When you master yourself, when you live by ritual, when you embrace hardship and focus with unbreakable clarity, you begin to embody the very essence of Bushido. Your mind and body move in harmony, and your actions echo the rhythm of purpose. Through this path, you rise beyond comfort, beyond fear, beyond the limits the world has drawn around you. You become a warrior not of battle, but of being, a living flame of will. Every sunrise is your forge, every challenge a test of your steel. The samurai knew that greatness is not won in a single moment. It is built in the repetition of 1,000 disciplined choices. Let your heart remain steady, your purpose unwavering, and your actions aligned with your code. The journey will demand patience, sacrifice, and courage, but through it you will discover the quiet truth, that strength was never something to find, it was something to become. So, rise, warrior, step forward with calm resolve and sharpened intent. Carry the spirit of Hagane no Ishi, the will of steel, in every act, every breath, every day. This is your path, this is your discipline. This is the way of the samurai reborn in modern form. Now, take what you've learned and forge yourself anew.